In the last decades, the Chinese car market has changed tremendously. Last summer, we went to Shanghai to investigate this phenomenon. Although the history of Chinese automobile industry is brief in comparison to the Western one, it is currently evolving and growing in popularity among the local and international markets. Our journey through Shanghai allowed us to have a glimpse over the current opinions, concerns, and outlook of the Chinese car market. On the second day, we had a nice opportunity to meet with James. He's a restaurant owner in downtown Shanghai, where he revealed to us what the Chinese consumer is looking for in the car market.
If I got a car today, I would only consider foreign brands. For example, first Japanese and then German. Japanese cars are cheaper, but the quality is superb.
His reasoning is that these foreign brands provide a good balance between quality, safety, and price. James later explained to us that he recognizes the efforts of the local industry to improve and compete with foreign brands.
The Chinese car brands are getting better and better. Consider the price. They are also functional, efficient, and energy saver. I saw it already becoming better than American brands.
It is clear that his car preferences and of many Chinese are shaped by their increasingly active lifestyle where brand recognition, comfort, and fuel efficiency are requisites in their vehicles. As evidenced by the testimonies, the Chinese car manufacturers must deal with these issues to gain more local acceptance. To know how Chinese compare Chinese cars with Western cars, we asked multiple Chinese citizens about their experiences regarding the differences between Chinese and Western cars. We asked them the question whether they think there's a big difference between Chinese and Western or European brands. Amongst the people we asked about their experiences were professors at the Chinese University of Science and Technology. In general, they said that European cars are seen as more prestigious but also more expensive. One professor said the following about this.
People prefer European cars, like BMW and Mercedes-Benz. People purchase Chinese cars because of the price. The price is a bit lower, sometimes much lower than European cars.
The view of the Chinese professor was also confirmed by James, the Chinese restaurant owner we spoke before. They both said that Western cars are seen as more prestigious and of better quality. People who buy Chinese cars mostly do this because of the price. The Chinese economy is growing year after year. One of the consequences of this growth is that more Chinese citizens can afford to buy a car. During our trip, we talked with the Chinese citizens about what it's like to own a car in China, and more specifically about what it's like to own a car in highly populated cities like Shanghai. In order to answer these questions, we interviewed a PhD student at one of the universities of Shanghai who has lived in China all his life.
It is difficult to obtain the rights to own a car in Shanghai, so I don't own a car. China has a large population and therefore needs to limit the amount of cars for the traffic to be some kind of normal. In order to limit the amount of cars, you have to obtain a license at a special auction. Without this license, you are not allowed to own a car. These licenses are very expensive, since there is only a small number of licenses available. A license plate costs around 15,000 US dollars. Besides this, there is also a big chance that you lose the auctions and have to wait for several months or sometimes even years before you can purchase a license. This is only different if you purchase a hybrid car. For those cars, you have the certainty that you can buy a license, but you still have to pay the full price of 15,000 US dollars.
But does not owning a car make you feel like you're missing out on something?
Currently, it doesn't. I can go everywhere by taxi and public transport since I don't have to go outside of Shanghai that often.
An important note to this interview is that the auction system varies from city to city. Therefore, it might be easier and cheaper to obtain a license in, for example, Beijing than it is in Shanghai. Besides this student, we also talked to a few other Chinese citizens. They mainly told us two things. Firstly, that Shanghai has a huge shortage of parking spots. Therefore, the few available parking spots are very expensive. And secondly, that even though there is a system to limit the amount of cars, there are still a lot of traffic jams. The Chinese car market is improving at an incredibly rapid pace. Besides the traditional Western brands, such as Audi, BMW, and Mercedes, new brands are coming up. While at first these brands were joint ventures between Western brands and Chinese brands, nowadays true Chinese car brands are upcoming. One of these brands is the Chinese car manufacturer NIO. NIO specializes in autonomous driving and is an upcoming high-end brand. We had the opportunity to interview one of the chief executives of NIO to ask him about this brand. NIO is often called the Chinese Tesla and focuses on the top segment of the market. The brand tries to give a full service experience to its customers. The brand works together with European designers and technicians and is planning to extend their sales to Europe in the near future. Because the Chinese cities are so polluted, the Chinese government has decided to give out subsidies for buying an electric car. NIO produces electric autonomously driving cars and profits from these subsidies. Besides this, NIO wants to remain as private as possible. But in the news, we later found out a $1.5 billion investment from a Chinese state fund. Mr. Warren did not see a real difference between Chinese and Western brands, but sees a bright future for the electric luxury SUVs. In general, Chinese car brands are trying to expand their business to the Western world in order to sustain their growth. The Chinese car market is upcoming and will be able to fully compete with Western brands in the near future. The biggest challenge is the needed improvement in quality and image. The Chinese government already subsidizes electric cars aggressively, which shows that China is preparing itself for the big change towards a society with electric cars only.